Easy one, man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to officially call to order the Madison County Planning Commission business session for October 15, 2019 to order. And ask our second to call roll, please.
Alan Hatfield.
Here.
Doug Fritz.
Here.
Shannon Pennington.
Here.
Robert Farmer.
Here.
Paul Miyachi.
Here.
Drew Alexander.
Here.
Roy Switzer.
Here.
We get a sign-in sheet. I didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
We haven't.
I haven't seen it yet. Sign-in sheet. All right.
Okay. First order of business, approval of the minutes. Everyone should receive a copy of the minutes in their packet. Is there any corrections or additions to the minutes as received? If not,
I'll make a motion to accept.
So you have a motion to accept the minutes as received, or a second?
Second.
Have a motion, second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll have a vote.
Roy Switzer.
Yes.
Drew Alexander.
Yes.
Paul Miyachi.
Yes.
Robert Farmer.
Yes.
Shannon Pennington.
Yes.
Doug Fritz.
Yes.
Alan Hatfield.
Yes.
Okay, next order of business is old business. We tabled a zone change at 1194 Goggins Lane. It will come in a two-part zone change. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor for a motion on, we'll be looking at 1194 Goggins Lane, 22.4 acres, UC 7 to UC 1.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
The Planning Commission is guided by the 173 pages of the comprehensive plan in 2015. The comprehensive plan emphasizes smart growth, and smart growth focuses on urban planning and transportation planning that concentrates growth towards city centers and avoids the sprawl into the urban corridor that is less ready for development. Smart growth advocates compact transit and walking-friendly land use with complete adequate streets, close proximity to existing emergency services, current adequate infrastructure in the way of water, sewer, power, and communication. And smart growth looks to development of a range of housing options and mixed-use development. Smart growth in the comprehensive plan encourages development in the urban corridor where there has already been substantial development that has occurred. Therefore, the zoning change from agricultural U7 to single-family residential is in agreement with the comprehensive plan based on the above stated facts on pages 100, 156, 165, and 167. And I make the motion that 1194 Goggins Lane be rezoned from agriculture to single-family residential.
We have a motion to approve the zone change from 22.4 acres from UC 7 to UC 1. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I would like to say, since I was absent due to a death in my family, that I had the opportunity to go over the property. Mr. Thomas got a key, and I drove over the property and looked at it, and I've been out there several times. I just want to enter that for the record, and that also that I reviewed the minutes several times of all the testimony that was taken in their last business meeting. Any further discussion?
I would also like to state that I went out and viewed the property, and the front part of that property looks flat when you drive down the road there for the most part. The back side of that property is straight over a hill into a gully or a ditch, and they run both from the city of Richmond, which is across the interstate, and from the back of that Meyer Shopping Center there. And we were out there after we'd had about 40 to 50 days of 95-degree weather, and that ditch was still running. So whenever that property is developed with whatever plan, there's going to be significant structuring there to keep that water from getting down to that road, which was one of the things that was brought up in the meeting. The second thing is where that property goes off, it drops off 80 to 100 feet straight down to the ditch. And in my way of looking at it, I don't know how you'd put houses on that. because if the water comes up there and you're controlling it, it's just gonna get higher. So I don't see how you can put something back there unless you've done a whole lot of work. And I'm talking about probably millions of dollars in moving dirt around.
Okay. Anyone else?
I do agree with Mr. Fritz that it will take very extensive planning and design. And the zone change is the beginning of a very long process for a developer to figure out what he or she can do, what is feasible, and how much of their land is going to be green space. Because in one of the other things of the comprehensive plan and the land use regulations is really emphasizing having adequate green space in developments. So this, a zone change is step one, but there are many, many, many steps after step one before the shovel gets in the ground.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone else? If not, I'll call for the vote. We had the motion to approve of those conditions, and we'll go ahead and have a vote.
Roy Switzer,
Yes.
Drew Alexander,
Yes.
Paul Bianchi,
Yes.
Doug Fritz,
Yes.
Alan Hatfield,
Yes.
Robert Farmer.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I did Shannon Pennington.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, then it'll be the recommendation of the planning commission to go to the fiscal court for their final approval. Okay, next on the agenda is 1194 Goggins Lane, 39.6 acres from UC 7 to UC 2. I'll open up the floor for a motion.
I would also like to make that motion. I do need to confer with council. It's going to be the exact same statement. Do I need to read the whole statement?
You don't have to, you can just make those statements. I made notes about them, and say for the same reason, it's the same motion. I guess you're emphasizing your array of housing options, part of the motion in that, but no, you wouldn't have to reread the same.
Basically, what I was going to say was the exact same thing I said about the 22 acres, and really emphasizing that the comprehensive plan looks to development of a range of housing options and mixed-use development on page 156, and the encouragement of the comprehensive plan to develop in areas that are already substantially developed, and you have existing, at that time, existing completed streets and existing completed infrastructure. So based on that, and, everything I already said about zone changes, I would make the motion that the zone change from agricultural to multifamily residential is in agreement with the comprehensive plan. And based on those facts, I make the motion that 1194 Goggins Lane be rezoned from agricultural to multifamily residential to 39.2 acres.
It's 39.6.
39.6 acres.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
While we were out there looking at that, we looked at both of these pieces of property. And one of the things that came up in that meeting was traffic. And I was concerned with it because it's a 2-lane highway with a turning lane. And one of the things that were brought up is it was being used as a passing lane for everybody. And that's something that concerns me as you get more and more traffic on it. But we can't take that up. We can only suggest to the people who are in charge that they look at that, and as this is developed, that this be something that be looked at from time to time, and do some studies on traffic to see what's coming through there and how much. Now, the problem that I see is it ends on both ends on a 2-lane highway, and you got a stoplight there. I was not aware at the time, because I don't drive in that area very much, but there's also a shopping center entrance there that could be used as a way to get out of there. And if I lived out there, that's one of the things I'd be doing, is I'd be coming up to that shopping center and going out one of those stoplights so I could get on out of there. So that's my thoughts. Now, that's a simple way to do it, but I don't know what you do when you have traffic coming out on 2-lane highways unless those highways are made larger, and we don't have any control over that. But there is another way out of there, and I didn't realize that was out there until I went out there.
Anyone else? Have a motion and a second. If not, we'll have a vote.
Paul Miyachi,
Yes.
Shannon Pennington,
Yes.
Roy Switzer,
Yes.
Drew Alexander,
Yes.
Doug Fritz,
Yes.
Alan Hatfield,
No.
Robert Farmer.
Yes. Okay, it'll be the recommendation of the plan commission then that the fiscal court approve this zone change, 1194 Goggins Lane, 39.6 acres, C7 to use C2. And when will that first hearing be at the fiscal court?
It'll either be next week, or it would be 2 weeks following prior to that. Just depends on if we can get on the agenda for the next meeting or not.
Okay, but it'll be
It'll be advertised,
publicized,
yeah.
and, yeah,
It'll be on the agenda, is always posted online for fiscal court meetings.
okay. We'll take a short recess for those that may not want to stay for the rest of the meeting, they need to, like to leave, can. Short 5-minute recess. I need to sign these both, this is to get it back to us. Did you write down the motion?
If y'all care to step out so we can get back to our meeting,
Yeah.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll let the record show we come back to order, and I'd ask our secretary to call roll just to establish that.
Alan Hatfield.
Here.
Doug Fritz.
Here.
Shannon Pennington.
Here.
Paul Miyachi.
Yes.
Drew Alexander,
Here.
Roy Switzer,
Yes.
Robert Farmer.
Here. Next agenda item is a minor plat for Red Lick Road. Bert, you want to bring us
Yeah,
up to
this is the landlocked, 137 acres thereabout, down on Red Lick Road that we talked about at the work session. They've increased their access easement to 50 feet for the distance of the property that they control. There's an existing 20-foot easement back to the road. They've added a note on here, planning commission note, no further division. That's what you all requested from the work session, and on that, looks like they've done everything we asked them to do at the work session.
Okay, anybody had any questions or comments about this property? Okay, if not, then I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minor plat for Bob Cake, 254 Red Lick Road, as presented.
Excuse me, but there wasn't any reason for any kind of waiver, was there?
For the 20-foot.
The 20-foot width.
Yeah, there was, I think,
The waiver is it's rather
Do we have to do that?
So,
right.
we could probably include with the waiver.
Upper right, yeah.
I'll leave it, okay.
All right. I'll make the motion for the approval of the minor plat for Bob Cates, 254 Red Lick Road, with the waiver regarding the access easement, 20 foot.
I think you got it with the as presented, since it's already on there, we won't need to make any changes to it.
Yeah, and as presented, so.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the waiver, is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Have a motion second, any further discussion? If not, we'll have a vote.
Alan Hatfield,
Yes.
Doug Fritz,
Yes.
Shannon Pennington,
Yes.
Paul Miyachi. Yes. Drew Alexander,
Yes.
Roy Switzer,
Yes.
Robert Farmer.
Yes. So any new business to come before the commission, Bert?
Not unless you all have any questions about the letter that you received in your packet. That's just a formality, I think. Everybody got a letter from KCO, just a certified letter saying
Yes.
that they've been involved. Unless y'all have some questions about that, that's all we got.
I'd like to bring up one haven't talked to anybody about this, but we made a zoning change that was approved last year for this multifamily housing. And the reason we increased it was because Richmond had 14 units per acre and Berea had 14 units per acre. We matched what they did, and I don't have a problem with that, but I think something needs to be added to that in the future. Doesn't have to be done right now, that can be reduced according to the circumstances that we find on each one of these, because I can see in certain circumstances why you wouldn't want 14 people on an acre, or 14 homes on an acre. And we can recommend, and then if they want to overturn it at the next level, then they can. But I think we need to maybe have something in there that says it can be restricted down from 14. 14 is what we're gonna give.
I don't think we can have both, though.
Yeah,
Once.
but you already have the power.
think what the-
land use regulations and the subdivision regulations state there at the minimum standard, and any time the planning commission finds reason to enforce a stricter standard, they have the power to do so.
Okay.
But it does need to have a established finding of fact.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
a finding of fact,
everyone
then that's
has-
what, that's what
Everyone
I'm
has,
looking
is
for.
consistent with
What
it.
prevents us from just having a duplex zoning, an R2 zoning?
You have to do something with
Yeah.
multifamily residential regs, because you have none.
Mhm.
You're depending on 2004 regs that are single-family residential, when Madison County had farmer cows and it had people. And, you know, the ones that I presented that we never discussed in 18, and I still want them discussed, those were not something I got out of Cracker Jack box. They were from a lot of Urban Planning Institute documents. They were from Lexington, they were from Clark County, they were from Louisville, and they were all pretty consistent in what they looked at in terms of how they're developed. And actually, our reg that says multifamily is still kind of hodgepodgey, because you can only have 8 units to a building, so you'd have to have a two-story building, 7 and 7. We don't have duplex, we don't have condominium. The 2004 regs are the 2009 regs, the 2014 regs, they're identical, and they're obsolete. We are
Yeah.
urban, I mean, this is very urban what we did tonight.
And I think it states that you have to be on sewer to have a duplex, is that
It
correct?
does, and
Which
you-
I don't
you're citing
understand.
urban regulations, and this particular zone change was urban,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Madison County is not.
Yes, I
Madison
think,
County is
I
a very
realize that, but,
rural
you know, we have
jurisdiction.
the one out on 627,
But
and
that's
they
an
don't
urban
have a
corridor.
finished done
It's in
road,
the corridor.
and
That's
they
urban
don't have
Yeah.
emergency services anywhere near them, so there are other reasons to maybe not be too enthusiastic about the one across from the school. But you know, Madison County's changing,
It certainly is.
and it's changing, and it's changing very, very quickly. I am, believe it or not, I am not a tremendous advocate of zone changes, but we are being confronted with the law. We are governed by the plan, by the comprehensive plan, and the subdivision regs and the land use management regs. And the comprehensive plan says you will update your regs, and we aren't updating our regs.
There could be some
Well,
changes
if,
for sure.
if there's something we need to discuss, or someone like for Bert to research something, if you could write him something,
Something,
they
yeah.
need to think about cutting this back, because when we talked about this, they went to fiscal court.
Let
they
me
had
just
to
remind
say-
you all that any change that you all approve, you
Is-
just recommend and approve.
I know,
Right,
and that's all we're
I'm
doing.
trying to drive this ship based on the feedback that I'm getting
Right.
from other people that will be looking at this stuff. So you gotta keep that in the back of your mind.
But we
I-
have to
I
keep-
understand that.
We have to keep in mind, though, all the infrastructure that's come available, like
Yes.
at Waco.
This fiscal court and this administration is very pro-growth, pro-development. They need revenue, and they want development. Now, they
Well-
want it to be smart development, smart growth, but, you know, if you don't think apartments are appropriate for what you did tonight, then where are you gonna put them? I mean,
Right.
go to Amberg and you
Yeah.
sit in a restaurant, and you look and you see apartments, and then you see houses. It's the layering, and that's what this will be right here.
Sure,
It's-
multi-use.
it's, you know,
Yeah.
There wasn't a better place in Richmond to put this.
That's right.
That was
No,
the-
I mean, yeah.
And, but
Looking at it from
we've
a
got
developer
another one
side.
that's coming right across the road from it very
That ain't gonna
soon.
come to us.
But they're gonna annex,
That'd be
Yeah,
annexed.
it'll be
That ain't gonna
annexed
come
in.
to us, because that's
because they
just,
have to get sewer,
Yeah.
and that's how they get sewer, is they'll annex.
and the way they wanna develop that, they need to be in the city, so you don't have to worry about that one, that'll be there, that'll be on the city.
But I do think we need to work on those regs. We need to go ahead and think about what we do and don't wanna do. And we need to put it before the magistrates, and if the magistrates say no, then the magistrates can deal with the community.
That's right. And they've proven they're not.
And
they're
they-
doing
they're
that.
not ready.
We're dealing with them
Well,
anyway on zone change.
And this tells me they're getting ready to deal pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Okay, any other business come before the commission? If not, a motion be in order to adjourn.
I say.
So moved. How's that?
We have a second, and then the motion.
That's right, yeah, let's go.
I don't think you have to have a second. No, no.
I'm ready to go, boys.
All right.
Alan Hatfield,
Yes.
Jeff Fritz,
Yes.
Shannon Kingston,
Yeah.
Paul Bianchi, Drew Alexander,
Yes.
Lori Fletcher.
Yes.
Robert Carter.
Yes.
There was nothing in this